I am going to try and make this as quickly as I can without confusing you. If you follow my directions and measurements, it'll give you this card that will work perfectly if you want to make a card using your own stamps. The only thing that may confuse you a bit is the ever-changing. And why I say ever-changing is because CRICUT is trying to simplify it, but they're oversimplifying it and they're overcompensating and making it more difficult to understand. So that's why it's imperative to name everything. I just want to show you something here. And I will delete this, if I just go back and undo this subtract, right, and just get rid of this, what I'm left with is a text, and that's it there. It is made up of CRICUT Reveal Wheel Part 2. Now if I wanted to, I could click on those individual ones, right click and rename them. But if I click on group, right click, I can't rename them. And this is what I'm finding very frustrating, because when you then close this group, and this is what these are for. So it's facing that way, okay? It just has to be opened. If it's facing that way, it's already opened. So you will have these two, see, that's closed, that's opened. So to give you a bit more information there, if that was closed, I don't know what it is without having to open it, even though that is highlighted and that is highlighted, telling me that this is the group. But if I wanted to get used to using my layers, what you can do is, I found with things that have been subtracted or excluded down in the combine section, what happens there is, let's open that. Hang on. It's going to make a total liar out of me. Subtract. Okay, there it is. So subtract now is the main heading for it to be open and closed. And we can rename that, and I can just put title. So that's it closed. So I'm going to open that up, and that gives me the group. So that's a bit of information for you. I'm going to now get rid of all this so there is less to look at over here in the layers panel, so that we can get going making our card. So being part 2, it is going to be what you learned in part 1. So I will race through, obviously making all the components. So the components are still the same as in 1, just a bit different, as in I have made the topper smaller. So as I have said before, my card toppers are 4x6. Uncheck, go 4x6. So that'll be my card base. Just imagine that's a folded card and that's my card base. Let's send that behind because everything comes to the front. And right. So the difference between number 1 and number 2 is that I will be putting this arrow onto my card base. So the wheel has been made smaller because I found this the best way because I had problems where to put the arrow. And then I started looking at how people were making these reveal cards, and a lot of the arrows were put there on the side. So I do have, you will find arrows in the free section, so I'll leave links below with a lot of the things that I used in this. In part 1 you see how I liked this round wheel from P&G Wing. You'll also get this segmented archway from P&G Wing if you are not subscription, but I'll get into that with you now. So let's go to shapes, and let's bring in all the shapes that we need to make this card. So we're going to bring in the square, and unfortunately you have to do this one at a time. We're going to bring in the half circle, so both of those are in the free section. Now if you have access, you can go down here and get the segmental arch. If you're not, I will leave a link below that will give you this image as well as this wheel that I brought in when I was in part 1. I'm going to go to my uploads. Now I've already brought in this shape. So there's your scalloped edge that I used in number 1, and now we're venturing out to a different shape. So you can still use your scalloped edge. I just find this one gives you a bit more room. So I'm going to add that to my canvas, and that of course is going to come in really big, but this gives you a chance to see the lovely edge. We're going to resize this circle. Make sure your padlock is locked, and it's going to be 3.06. Just make sure it is 3.06 for both the width and the height. And in this case it isn't, so my height needs to be changed. However, I need to unlock this padlock, highlight them, and then go 3.06. So the segmental arch, the width is unlock, width is 2.01. and the height is 0.71. The half circle width is 0.54, and we're going to uncheck that padlock and put in 1.11. And then this is your topper. I'm going to change the color to white, uncheck padlock, and the width is 3.7 by 5.7. And I made it a different size this time because this size I can cut it 6 times on a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. We go to shapes again, so we need to do our brad wheel, and that's resized at 1.5. We are going to duplicate the brad wheel, and we're going to resize that to 0.8. Sorry, 0.08 will go. We want it really, really tiny. I'm going to change the color, but just to a different one on mine. You won't have this on yours, but so I've got a different color. I'll just go purple. And then I want to duplicate this small one again for this wheel. And I'm going to change the color So try and get in the habit of changing the colours there and then, and that way now you can identify over here which is which. You can then also rename things. So I would rename that the Brad circle, and this is why my tutorials take a little bit longer, is to get you used to renaming things. So I'm going to, let's do this step and get it out of the way. Select both the Brad circle and the little circle, align and center. Then go to combine and exclude. So now while that's highlighted, we can go over to the exclude, rename that to Brad circle. And if you want, you can close that, because the more we've got down here, the more stupid this layer panel looks. It just keeps going and drifting right out of the screen. Never used to do that. So we've got that. We can keep these two colours the same for now. So we'll do the same with our word, or our we'll call it the word wheel. So select both, align and center, and while they're highlighted, combine and exclude. While that's highlighted, go up to the top there, rename word wheel. That's actually a reveal wheel. The whole card is the reveal wheel. Okay, so just enter, and then you can close that as well. So now you've got these two named, and we'll put that out of the way. So what you then do is play around with the position that you want your segmental arch to go. And in my case, I've just put it up a bit, so if you wanted to have a heading above it, you can. So in other words, don't have it right up here, although you can. And again, that really depends on what stamp you're using, or even if you wanted to cut out a few of these and have them ready for future cards. What I try and do is align as I go along, so that'll be align and center horizontally. And then with the semicircle, I want to try and do it so it's out of the way. Now this one is going to be smaller than in part one, and we're still left with all this room, and it's still enough for the wheel will sort of go around like that, because if it was too low, say down here, you wouldn't get the wheel in. So if you wanted to, you could put that like that, just for position, and then you can make sure you're getting a good proportion of the wheel. So I want to make sure that's right on the edge. I'm going to select that, the shift key, and then the card topper, align that to the right hand side. I'm going to make sure it is all selected and go to combine and subtract. So while I have it selected, I'm going to rename that card topper, and I can close that one. So just keeps them all nice and neat. Now the ones below are all the ones that I've got over here. So really, now that that's all done, I'd like to still keep it there so that you can get an idea of what you're up for. So the next step is the message on the reveal wheel. So go to your text. I've selected BFC cornbread snacks. Now you need to be a subscriber. Otherwise, if you're not, I would suggest going into CRICUT and selecting your filters and checking free. So there's no free BFC, so it's going to not come up here. But check free and writing and see what comes up for you there. Well, you can try and use a font that is on your system, but it's a writing font. Did I say I like being a subscriber with all these beautiful fonts that CRICUT has, and it's so easy. So I'm going to turn it, make sure the operation is a pen from the get-go, because changing it later is just over here. We used to be able to see if it was, you know, at the site. It says draw there. Basic cut. Just getting used to the new. So draws, that's okay so far, but that's why I like doing it as we go along. I've actually put quite a bit on this wheel. I'll read it out to you. I've put happy birthday to you, have an awesome day from all of us, we love you so much, and a heart that I'm going to teach you how to construct and draw. It actually holds quite a bit. That's it's about 16 words to fit it around into a circle to pop it around. So highlight that, pick your writing text, make sure the operation is pen. Being such a long font, I'm just going to reduce the font size to about 40 at the moment so we can see what's going down. And start. So I do want to say that after each word, what I do is I go space, space. So happy birthday, space, space. And then after every line, like happy birthday to you, I will do dot, dot, just so they know that we're continuing, or maybe it should be dot, 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 but I just did 2 so that they know to keep going, which they will anyway, but it makes sense. So happy birthday to you, to space, space, you, space, space. Go back, dot, dot. We've got have, space, space, and awesome day, dot, dot. And I'm not going to put a dot at the end because it doesn't look good against the heart. So I'm going to show you how to make the heart, which I don't think I have done yet. Select a heart from the free category. Do an offset at about 0.28. Highlight both and subtract. We're going to turn this into pen immediately, and then over here we're going to delete the offset because it gives you 2 lines. Highlight, produce another one, make it a bit smaller, pop that inside, align in center, and attach. So with the attach, we should have been able to write, regroup that. Sometimes it doesn't work straight away. No, I don't know why. it's not letting me rename that. Look at that. It should. But anyway, it hasn't. But anyway, you've got the hearts. So I want to really make that approximately the same size as the fonts there and stick it at the end of much. Now it won't, actually it will. I don't want to do anything to this just yet. If I attach that heart to that now, and I'll show you, if I attach it, the ability to rotate and circle that has been taken away. So go back, we need to curve this, and we're going to curve it down. Let me get out of that for a bit till it goes right around, but not so much. Then we need to put, there's two things you can do. You can turn that heart upside down, or you can rotate that around to the top, which is probably easier. Put your little heart in there. Okay, now you may attach this, and then we're going to reduce that size to I think the size was about, let me see, 2.27. Oopsie, hang on, up here, 2.27. Let's see how we go with that. 2.27 by 2.23, but I really would love it to be an exact circle. So uncheck your padlock, and we're going to go 2.27 to make sure that's even, and then just lock that. Perfect. So all there's left to do now is to bring in the arrow. That belongs to that one. And that's in images. Go arrow in the search bar. Select free. I'm going to select this one. Add to canvas. So I'm going to ungroup that. Just get rid of those words. So I've just highlighted the words over here and deleted them. And then you simply just have your arrow, which will be resized. Now the arrow needs to face up, because the way the words read, just show you this. You know, if it's in this, and find where the words are. So I just selected that, and I wanted to show you, so your wheel is going to be moved up because we read left to right. Let me just see if I can do that for you. So if you read that and the wheel is going up, it goes happy birthday, and then the next word is to you, so on and so forth. If I went, just put that at 0 again, hopefully that'll work. If I went the other way, you'd go happy birthday, much so you love. Okay, so the arrow will be stuck on the base of the card, which will give you a little bit of room around the sides. So it only really needs to be about that big. So that's the arrow. Now all there is left to do is to place that to there and cut it out. Then you're going to place the words on top. So you're going to align that. It should still work for you. And it should be a lot straighter. So that happy birthday to you, just going to make sure it's in the middle. And I'm going to select that attach, and that gives me the hearts and the words. And now I'm just going to, I wish I could make that 0, but it'll be 0 when it's on the wheel. So I just want to rotate it so I can show you now that as you're turning it around, look, Design Space is going to get glitchy, but as you go around, happy birthday to you, have So as I'm doing this to show you, and I just fast forwarded it, as I'm selecting the rotating button to move it around, it jumps. The position just jumps all over the place. So obviously it's not meant for us to do that. You won't have to do it. And it won't be like that when you position that onto your card. I was just doing that to show you. We're going to go 0. I'll just move that around again. So what I want to do is go back to where I had it before, have the happy birthday in see how it's moving? Unbelievable. So I just use my arrow keys. It doesn't really matter at this point because I'm going to move that out of the way. See how it just went, ugh. But I'm going to move that out of the way and align and center and then attach. So now it is all ready for you to make. Now if you want to do more than one, just duplicate it all now. Duplicate everything. And that's your card, guys. I hope you learned something from there. Please leave any comments. Please like, share and subscribe. And please come over to CRICUT Connect and join this lovely small group. Bye for now.